Hello again, it's Monday the 14th of November 2016, and we're having a quick look at the trade today and a bit more in depth analysis about how I view the charts, how I decide which is why to take a trade, should I say. So, first off, on the 30-minute chart, this was the one I opened. I could clearly see we'd had at 5 a.m. we'd had the 3 moving average had crossed over the 10 moving average, which was our alert here and indication of a 5-minute trend and some sort of break of old support in this instance. So, um, what I do know from this also is that we've got a massive trend to the downside. And so we're just part of when I say massive trend, 30 minutes, that's a lot of 30 minutes, that's a whole day's worth of down movement on this particular instrument. So, get a bit more information out of this. We can clearly see we've got this uptrend going on here. So we are just pulling back on the H4 uptrend. So what I did, I wanted to find out how much room we've got below us to with regard this ascending trend line, which is just basically the uptrend in place. So I drew that line on there also, and whoops, lost internet connection for a moment there. And we can clearly see the price is actually getting down that far. But the reason I want to draw that line on there as a part of the analysis on a sort of fairly regular basis is that if this line had been nearer the price, then obviously it would look less enticing as a potential trade. What I mean by that is if all of this stuff here had been slightly higher, say for example up here, and there was this was clear black space here, then it would look less worthwhile if my price was just here and I had that gap there. But as it was, I was way up here when I entered the chart, so still not a concern. But you get the point I'm trying to make is that you've got more space. Don't get greedy though. There's no need to get greedy as a result of the space. Just go for your 7, or in this case today I went for 11 pips, so really enjoying the additional confidence that's arising from all this analysis, to be honest with you. No, it's a no-brainer if the price is up here at sort of I think it was about 60 when I started, so it's moved about 60 pips as far as I can see. And that's it. So on this H4 chart then I set about putting areas that I thought would affect price. So again, the reason for going for slightly more than my normal 7 or 8 pips was purely because there was nothing in the way that was concerning me. And oh, this is something I don't often mention. I'm not interested really in putting support levels that are in front of me, because it's all about resistance levels. Price is testing resistance levels that is broken through to see whether they are valid areas of price. That's the sort of market profile type analysis, supply and demand coming out. But I'm a true believer in that. I love that stuff. So go and read up about that if you can. Market profile, true fair value is the expression they use. Anyway, areas that I thought might affect price on the down move. So this is trying to tie up with the ascending trend line there as well. That resistance there, which is coinciding with resistances and flip zones and areas of support and resistance here, so here and here. And then that resistance there was still way below where my take profit was on the original trade, so I was still, it was probably about 20 pips away from my entry, so that was good. Ultimately, the first level I actually put on here, remember, was this area here. I could see we'd got something going on here, so just stuck level on that first resistance level, if you like, on this down move here. All the highs are resistance. And so you can clearly see we've got a massive amount of toing and froing here. And the rest, as I've just said, is what was important to me. At the time of taking the trade also, this was a fairly good indicator of what was going on. Price had closed below that high there, so that resistance there that created this down move here, although it's on a high of a green candle, it's still forced the price to go make a lower low, this candle here. So that was the analysis on the H4 chart. H1, remember I'm going from an alert on an M30, just checking H1 hadn't given me an alert at some stage, and the M30 was an alert against an H1, which would mean it would invalidate the short scenario. M30, we can clearly see the massive trend in place now, and this was just a pullback on that bigger downtrend that was indicated by the H4 alert to the downside. And here's the trend on the candles: high, low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low, pullback and continuation. So this really was just a chart screaming to be traded to the short side, but that comes from experience of studying charts for thousands of hours. So but hopefully this analysis is helping you analyse or learn the power, if you like, of support and resistance, and how the higher time frames affect the lower time frames, and pure price action. So it's a mismatch of all the stuff that you find online. There is no right way, there is no wrong way to trade. Well, there's loads of wrong ways, I suppose, but there is the best way is the way that you find fits your mental ties in with your thought process. It's how you understand price action or trading, really. So M30, now we drill down into the M15, just check we're not pulled back on M15. Nothing to worry about there. Now we're into the ticking all the boxes. Yes, we've got the trend in place, we can see that. High, low, lower, high, lower, low. This one was slightly lower. That if this one hadn't gone lower than that, then all bets are off as far as I'm concerned. Having said that, we'd broken through the lower, so you could have said yes, this is the lower low, but then I would have expected another pullback, which I don't want to be waiting for at this time of the morning. But let's just double check that did. I'm sure it did. Yeah, you can see it's clearly pierced through there 3 times, and then this was the fourth, really, which was added benefit, if you like, for the short trade. So I then dropped down to my line chart and wanted to just make sure that all tied in. We could pick out the proper, if you like, support levels here, and we could clearly see the true support levels, in my opinion, are what Martin J. Pring sort of talks about, is when a higher high is broken by the price and created a lower low, a new high, if you like. That's a true support. So when price breaks the previous high, that's support. So I draw my levels on here. That high there has been broken by that price movement there, so that's a true support. Again there, support. Again there, support. That high is broken by price here. That becomes true support, in my opinion, when that new high is formed. In other words, the pullback is over. And here, and here, and ultimately there. So if you go back now to the line chart, so what I want to see is price go through this. So it's definitely below the support when we entered, and then you've got these other levels now that affect price, as you can see. Price over this side, clearly reacting to these green levels, support. being tested and failing to hold. Here, pull back to the support over here, and so on and so forth. So, and even right down to this H4. So all of this stuff was drawn on the chart. Sorry if it's looking a bit messy now. All of this stuff gets drawn on the chart before price starts to react to it. So it's all about old price affecting how price moves over here. So trend analysis, support and resistance analysis. Ultimately, the most powerful thing on this, the whole reason for taking the trade was this alert here. But it's not just a pink arrow telling me to trade. It is just saying that a level of support has been broken by a little trend. That's that 5-minute one I explained to you. And yeah, hopefully this gives you a clearer idea of my analysis and how I expect price reacting to that level there. Now they've forced the price down. The wick is showing that there is something going on there. So you know, it's not and so it's here and here that is affecting the price. It's broken through it, and it can't potentially can't stay below it. But that's how price action works. So hopefully something of value has been put across by this video. Oh, let's just stick the trade on there. That was my trade. Got in a little late purely because you know, I could have got in a fair amount earlier, but I was trading on a different platform as well. I've got two brokers, so took the trade on the other one and then came and took the trade on this one. So but that's it. And price is there's price bouncing off that resistance there. It's just poetry in motion. Beautiful, beautiful looking chart today. I'm not talking about my stuff, I'm talking about the price, of course. Thank you for watching and have a good day.